Hi, class. I'm Luis Medina and my partner Alex Lee, and we're here to introduce our solution for providing light to third world countries that require a solution that's sustainable and affordable. We've renamed our project to Light for All. Next slide. So this is an overview of our methodology and what we're doing. We're applying design thinking methodologies. In doing so, we focused on understanding the problem from which we derived requirements for a solution that will meet end user needs. Our problem statement is to develop, test, and manufacture an indoor lighting solution that is affordable, sustainable, reliable, both day and night. We conducted market research of existing technologies and will present our findings of limitations in existing designs. We'll provide a detailed description of our innovative solution and close with our preliminary design analysis as our first technical risk mitigation step prior to our engineering, manufacturing, and development phase of production of our qualification unit. Next slide. The lighting problem, this is the problem that we were facing. I'm going to read it right off the slide because it's pretty direct. And as we defined it, it's the lack of affordable and sustainable indoor lighting solutions in rural areas globally. Current applied solutions are posing both a health and environmental significant risk with dependencies on fire and kerosene. There is currently no reliable and safe solutions that are affordable and sustainable in these rural areas. And it brought us to our defined problem statement, which again, as stated before, it is to develop, test, manufacture an indoor lighting solution that's affordable, sustainable, and reliable both day and night. Next slide. The products and solutions that exist today, we looked at the gravity powered LED, the leader of light, and the solar lanterns, which will go in more detail. Next slide. And part of looking at potential solutions and problems with the current designs that are out in market, one of the advantages that we looked at in the gravity powered LED solution is something that's sustainable and reusable, doesn't require batteries, and it's cheap. It's $5 per unit. One of the disadvantages that we've seen is it makes a lot of noise, so there's a lot of discomfort in the environment, and it requires manual rewinding, and it only lasts for 20 to 30 minute iteration. Next slide. The solution we started investigating and brainstorming is the implementation of a control system for autonomous rewinding. If we're able to use a control system that stores power, so it regenerates the control mechanism to autonomously rewind the system and therefore provide continuous lighting without the manual controls, while still maintaining affordability and reliability, this could present a potential good solution for our design. All right, next slide. All right, Alex, over to you.
Cool. And not to get ahead of myself, but just going back real quick, the second solution that we are thinking about or brainstorming was if there was some way to kind of just modulate the weight. For example, when it is low, then we can make the weight lighter, and when it is high, you can make it heavier so that it actually falls. That would be another way to do it, but physically we don't know if there is some kind of material that has those kind of properties, and that seems a little bit out of our league. So but theoretically, the idea, if we could modulate the weight as well, that'd be another way that we can self-charge this gravity-powered LED. So another one of the solutions that we were looking at that exists today are solar lanterns. And basically, after examining them and investigating, we kind of determined that solar lanterns are actually pretty nice, and there's not too much to fix, which is probably why they're so prevalent today, and especially as a portable light source. So some of the things that we were thinking about is we can improve it by making the light brighter, so increase the luminance. We can also increase the area of it, of the lamp itself, increasing luminance as well. Or we can also increase the area of the solar cell, so we can make it more efficient in energy. But as soon as you start to make things bigger, or as soon as you start to make the solar lantern bigger, you start to sacrifice the portability of it, which is one of the main appeals for having a solar lantern, because it is a portable light source and you're supposed to carry it around and not just leave it in a room. So there's a trade-off there between portability and making it brighter and bigger. Other than that, though, we determined that solar lanterns are pretty great. Not too much to fix. Then our third solution, which is kind of what we're going to be focusing on, is revolving around the liter of light solution, which already is, a very cheap solution. It just requires a bottle, some water in there, and you just need it to be mounted on or through your roof. But one of the drawbacks is that it's only useful when the sun is out, because it only refracts the sunlight in real time. And after kind of going through all these drawbacks, we kind of determined that that's kind of a big drawback versus the others. Some other drawbacks that we talked about was having to rewind, or maybe not being aesthetically pleasing, but that kind of pales in comparison to not being able to see during the nighttime. So that's one of the big issues that we wanted to kind of focus on, which is kind of what led us to our solution here, which is what we propose with combining solar cells and LEDs to the system, so that during the nighttime, when there is no sun in real time, you can reflect LED light from beside it and use that as a light source. And I kind of talked about this before, but the reason why we're kind of going ahead and wanting to focus on this specific issue is because the issue of having no light during the night, we feel, is more pressing than having to rewind. It's more pressing than things being good looking, especially in these areas. If you could see this picture here, yeah, you can tell that it's not like a aesthetically pleasing room. It's not built for that purpose. It seems to be just for the purpose of having a indoor room with lights. So I don't think aesthetically pleasing is one of the main focuses, although it wouldn't take much money or thought to basically make a better case design instead of a bottle, because bottles, you find them everywhere or anywhere. It'd be very cheap to be able to create some other plastic casing that has similar index of refraction and basically looks better, functions the same. We also determined that solar lanterns, there weren't much to fix, and yeah, as a portable light source, they're pretty great. So we went along and we are proposing the liter of light plus, which during the day acts as a normal liter of light. It will be taking in sunlight and refracting it in real time during the day. But when the sun is gone, then you have the system here with an LED powered by a solar light, which is charging during the day at the same time the sun is lighting up that room. So there's no wasted time there. But basically, you would have the solar cell powered LED shining light onto some reflective surface, and that reflective surface would be reflecting the light down into the bottom of the bottle and providing light for inside of the room. Some of the things that we're thinking about is we would definitely need to drill a hole so that there's not another index of refraction to take into consideration, and we could we could shine the beam of light straight into the bottle without any interference. And then we also need to find and investigate what kind of surface or reflective surface at that is able to reflect all the light into the bottle without any wasted energy. And then the way that we kind of think about it is, if we frame our system in this manner, then we kind of turn this into a non-imaging optics problem, where we basically have to guarantee that the incident light is within the bounds of the reflected surface, and that would guarantee all the reflected light and would, or all the reflected light would be between the edges of the reflected light here, which is kind of the main baseline of non-imaging optics as we discussed in class. And so this is our preliminary kind of what we're thinking about for our design. We have to do more actual calculations and look at different reflective surfaces to see if this is feasible. But from kind of like a high level overview, we think this is pretty feasible, as all it takes is another solar cell and an LED, which is already super cheap. And combining that with the already cheap solution would cause it to remain cheap. And as long as enough light is reflected into the bottle and is functional, we can live with having a little bit of leaking or a little bit of energy wasted, as long as it still lights up the room. But those are little details that we'll have to work out. And that's about it for our Liter of Light Plus.